Welcome everyone to video number 3 of the Illinois Bar Preparation Project in conjunction with the Young Law Student section with Jennifer Byrne and Jonathan Amarillo and of the Chicago Bar Association, otherwise known as the CBA here in Chicago, Illinois. Now, my name is Patrick Gould. I'm an attorney in Illinois and Wisconsin, and I'm a learning expert. What we're going to discuss in this video is how to approach the study of multiple choice questions, otherwise known as MBEs. MBEs, how do you improve in MBEs? Okay. Now, over the years, I've helped a lot of students improve in their ability to understand how to read MBEs, multiple choice questions, for the bar examination, and how to improve their scores. So let me take you through a couple of techniques that work very, very well for students. Now, the first technique is to consider the nature of an MBE. Now, when you consider, let's just take one question. I'll give you an example as we go through here. But the first thing you want to do is to read the call of the question. It will give you an indication of what area of law. So let me give you an example. Did Johnny commit a battery in this situation, period, or question mark? So a battery would be commonly considered as either criminal law or torts. So we've narrowed it down, the area of law that we're going to consider. Typically speaking, it will be torts, okay? Next thing is to consider the body of the question, okay? Now, other people might tell you, oh, look at the answer choices, but over the years, I've used different techniques, and I suggest, and there's a very good technique that we're going to be discussing, not to read the answer choices. You say, why? Don't they help you? Well, let's look at this. How many of the answer choices are going to be incorrect? Out of 4, 3 of them will be incorrect. Now, who makes the test? The psychometricians up in Madison, Wisconsin, at the National Conference of Bar Examiners, they sit down and they think, how can we trick students into choosing the wrong answer choice? All right, well, they're able to do it very effectively, okay? So there's more than one question, or more than you have the right answer, but some of the other questions are going to be very enticing, or some of the other answer choices will be very enticing. And if you look at them before you read the body of the question, you could be very well drawn away from analyzing on your own. And the way I put this metaphorically is, when you're an attorney and a client comes in and they give you a certain situation, they're not going to give you a list of 4 things that you should consider to analyze it. You're going to have to do that on your own, okay? So it's a good place to start on MBEs, to start thinking like an attorney in a disciplined way, all right? So you read the call of the question first, then the body of the question, and then at that moment, analyze the question. Analyze it. So let me give you an example. Again, the question was, the call of the question was, did Johnny commit a battery? And just to let you know, it's a torts question. So one day, Johnny got on the Chicago bus in the downtown Loop area of Chicago. It was a crowded bus. He sat down and he was reading the paper. Then Sally got on the bus, and of course Sally just had an operation on her shoulder. All right, it was very sore, and she found it difficult to find a place to sit when she got on the bus. She lost her balance for a second, and Johnny, looking up from his newspaper, okay, immediately reached up to steady her, to stop her from falling. Oh, nice guy, you think, and what happens? He touches her right on the shoulder where she had surgery. She screams out in pain, "Ow, I can't believe you did that, sir." Did Johnny commit a battery here? So that's the body of the question. You don't know what the answer choices are now, but let's analyze it. Did Johnny commit a battery? Well, what is a battery in torts? Essentially, it's a harmful or offensive touching. Okay, so did he touch her? Did he actually touch her? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He came into contact with his hand with her shoulder. Now, was it harmful or offensive? Well, in this situation, we're told that Sally screamed out in pain. That would be considered, under the definition of battery, it would be considered a harmful touching. So we have harmful and we have touching. Now, did he intentionally touch her? Well, you can say, I don't really think he did. He was just trying to help out. Well, we're not looking at that. We're looking at the definition of battery. Let's keep it simple. It was kind of reflexive, but how did his hand get up there and touch her shoulder out of nowhere? He decided in his mind, immediately nonetheless, he still made that decision to reach up and steady her so she didn't fall. He was concerned about her, you say. That doesn't enter into a battery, does it? The only things we're looking at are harmful touching with intent. Okay, so he intentionally did reach up and grab her shoulder to steady her from falling, yes, but by doing so, I'm thinking that he committed a battery. Okay, I'm thinking he committed a battery. Well, out of luck for Johnny. He committed. Well, wait a minute. Now we have to look at the defenses. Okay, was he acting in self-defense? No. But wait a minute. Where was he? He was on a crowded city bus. When we go out in the crowded ball games, when we go in crowded movie theaters, when we go onto crowded buses, what do all of us know as a society? Well, we know there's going to be a lot of people there. And we know there's going to be bustling and maybe pushing and things of that sort. Don't we? Sure we do. All right? We understand that. So all of us, when we decide to engage in those activities, what have we done? We impliedly consent, not expressed through a written agreement, but we impliedly consent to the normal societal touches of society. So that's what the woman did when she got onto the bus. She was what? Impliedly consenting by getting onto the bus that someone might reach out to steady her. And that's what happened in this situation. So even though it was a harmful or offensive touching, even though Johnny made that touching with intent, he has the defense of implied consent. So there you go. So now we've analyzed that situation without looking at the answer choices. Now the answer choices A, B, C, and D in order could be something like, yes, Johnny committed a battery because he intended to touch her. B, the answer choice B would be, yes, Johnny committed a battery because he did not intend to commit a battery. Okay? Well, actually, no, Johnny didn't commit a battery because he did not intend would be C, and then D would be what? No battery. And of course, if you were to have looked at those answer choices beforehand, it would be very, very confusing to you to answer the question. But when you analyze it first and go through that, it makes it much easier. Okay, so try that technique. Now, another advanced technique which I find very effective for students is this. Do what I just did. Analyze out loud. It makes it a lot more effective for your learning curve, for your fluidity, for your ability to target where your thought processes are not on track. Okay? And you can write down certain things like, I'm having a problem in this area. I have to study this more. So verbalize your analysis out loud to your own self for your own MBEs, for your own MBE questions as you practice them. It's a very, very good technique, and it makes the time go much quicker and you're more engaged in the process also. Of course, you're not going to be able to do this on the bar exam itself, but the verbalization of your thought processes helps you understand where you need to, what I call, fix the areas that you need to fix in order to have a fluid thought process. Okay? And another technique that works very, very, very well, let's say you've gone through, let's say 25 questions in criminal procedure. Well, maybe you've got 17 out of 25. What you want to do is two things. Take those 7 that you got wrong, set them aside and come back to them and study them. Make sure you understand how to get those right. And then take all 25 and redo them 2 or 3 times. Okay? What you're doing is developing a level of expertise. So don't just run through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of MBEs without revisiting them. Okay? Part of developing expertise in this area is to revisit and repeat the same questions. Things will become more familiar to you, right? The thought process will come more quickly. You'll become more fluid in your thinking, and you hopefully will become much better at answering MBE questions. And of course, the ultimate goal is to grade out higher on the bar examination. Okay, so hope this has been helpful to you, and this will do it for video number 3 of the Illinois Bar Prep project of the Young Law Student section of the Chicago Bar Association.